Hi, I'm here with ABEL. ABEL, this is your RX2 right here. Can you tell me about how you got started with cars and the early days of the import scene for you?
I got started with cars when I was about 14, 15 years old, helping one of my uncles work at his dealership mechanic shop. And then once I started learning a little bit about cars, I had some friends that started going to the street races out to Compton and Maine,
Compton in Maine.
Florence and Avalon, and then Gardena. And then I would sneak out the house and go out there and drive cars for them. And my first car was a Mercury Capri. And then once I got beat by a Mazda a couple of times leaving high school. Then I was hooked on the Mazda thing, and I actually got my first Mazda by trading the sounds from my Capri for my RX2. And then one thing led to another, and I just stuck with the Mazdas and the Rotaries after that.
Fell in love with the rotaries, the three rotor, the tri points, right?
Yeah, well, the three rotor, obviously the two rotor we were going fast, and then I wanted to get another faster car, so we went up to the three rotor to make more power and go faster.
Okay, and in those days, as far as the rotary scene goes, how deep was the rotary scene? Was it small? Was there a lot of guys in it? Like, what was it like, the early days of the
Rotary
rotaries?
scene has always been deep. It was mainly more on the street level, because I don't think none of the guys out here in Southern California knew how fast the rotaries could go. My first glimpse of seeing a fast rotary was when I got a Sport Compact Car magazine or Turbo magazine, and I seen a black FD, in full street trim going 10s, and I was like, wow, if that car can go that fast, I can build something faster. And then, as the magazines came out, I heard about the Puerto Ricans and the guys back east in Florida, how fast they were going, and that's what got me to go and start building the R100 to, what I did, by going with the turbo and going fast with that one.
Wow. Okay, so it was pretty much the Puerto Ricans were already ahead of the curve in the rotary game, right? And then you got inspired by them.
Yeah, they've been out there. The Puerto Ricans and the Australians,
And when you were out there at the street races, what other rotary guys were out there? Were you like the only one, or was there other
there
people
was a
out
couple
there?
of guys. I know the fastest guys were some black guys. It was JJ. And
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they had some RX3s with bridge ports and stuff that were pretty fast. Yeah, our Mazdas, we were kind of broke. All we had was little street ports with carburetors, but they had big bridge ports, peripheral ports. They were tearing up those V8s. They were going fast.
So, when you wanted to get your engine built, did you get in contact with these black dudes? Were they from Compton, I heard?
No, we didn't have money to do that. So for the longest, not until probably the early 90s, all I ran was stock engines with a carburetor and some nitrous. I didn't get my first engine built until probably like 93, 94.
And when you needed parts, was companies like Racing Beat, were they around?
Well, back in the days, we would either go to AM or to Racing Beat to get stuff, or to Nick Rotary Reliability that was in Santa Ana.
Oh, okay.
Once I started getting racing and I got involved and Mazda heard about me, then I started getting stuff through Mazda competition boards.
Yeah, and was Mazda Tricks around during those times
Yeah,
too?
they were around.
Okay. And in your days, because we're at the import street racing meet right now. In your days, when you're out there street racing, did you ever get in trouble with the law?
No, I never got in trouble, but I know a lot of guys that did.
So you got away all the time, huh?
Yeah, I was lucky. Yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky that they never came while I was doing something.
And you were like a solo racer, like you pretty much rolled up by yourself, or did you roll with a crew?
No, I was by myself.
Okay. And what do you miss about those days, the early days of the street racing scene?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's different now. They talk a lot of smack. We've always talked smack, but it's a little different. Now you can have fun, but it also can be dangerous. So it's not the same like it used to be. Like I tell people, back then, guys were there to have fun. It was more of a hustle.
Right.
Now it's like culture, but at the same time you got other people involved, and it's a hassle. I don't like the new part of it.
Yeah, it seems like people are more so into like the cutthroat, getting the money. Yeah, they're just willing to just take it there. The rotary scene, you've seen it change. What's the biggest changes you've seen since the days that you guys started till today's age? Like, what's the biggest changes in the rotary scene have you seen?
It was doing really, really good. When we had all these events going on here, but once the events kind of got canceled out, it seems like our rotary scene over here has died. But back east, and like I said, in Puerto Rico and Australia, it's stronger than ever.
Okay, and as far as today's generation, what message do you have for today's generation and future generation of rotary heads?
Well, logs are a great product. They're the best bang, I think, for the buck. But unfortunately, the way everything is expensive. So if I were to say anything for the young generation, stay in school, do the best that you can, so you can become the best financial person you can, get a career, so it will allow you to have your toys and have fun, because without money, you can't do anything.
You heard it from the man himself, man. Get the money first, because this is an expensive hobby to do, man. You want to do the rotary right, you gotta have them. You gotta have a big bag. I appreciate your time, Abel. Thank you.